Moving on to the S&P, again I've identified a couple of resistance levels there and a support level on the daily. Just make a note of those levels. And then moving on to the 30-minute, again I've identified some levels there, support, resistance, trends, also the pivot levels. The best thing when I'm going through this, if you can't write these down fast enough, is just take a picture on your camera and then you can go back to them afterwards, or just replay it, obviously, but just save you maybe a little bit of time. Nasdaq daily. So again, some resistance levels higher up with a couple of support levels below the market as well. And then the 30 minutes pretty much the same as the rest. The Nasdaq did come down and test the pivot point level, though was rejected and just closed steady, as did all of them. And then we move on to the Russell 2000, support level there, some resistance levels above on double and triple tops. So it'd be interesting to see what goes on. Just remember, the Russell is made up of the small and mid-cap companies, obviously Nasdaq's tech companies. So, it just depends what you're trading or how you want to trade. And again, although they track each other, they can move at different speeds sometimes. Some lag a little. So it just really sort of what market's going to suit you the best. Again here, the 30-minute, so the Russell just sort of traded between the pivot and R1 for the whole day. Moving on to currencies, so here's the pound against the dollar, which was, performed well on Friday, but if you look at it, it's closed with a doji. It did get all the way up to above sort of 22.5, almost to 23, but it failed there. And you've got that support line in there at the moment. I just can't get bullish for the pound or the euro at the moment, really, just because of what's going on in Russia with energy prices and such like. So here's the 30-minute. It had a good move on Friday, actually, the pound against the dollar. Because look at that. Early on, it started around the pivot. It rallied all the way up to R2, rejected there, then came all the way down to test S2, which is great. Some amazing opportunities there, and then settled just above the pivot. The euro is sort of managing to find a little bit of support at the moment. It is more a little bit of dollar weakness that came in last week, I would say, rather than strength of the euro. And we're just holding in this sort of range at the moment. It's struggling to get through that 103. So let's see how the beginning of the week goes. Friday, otherwise, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a fresh direction, whether it's up or down for the euro against the dollar. Here's the 30-minute. So again, got a couple of resistance levels on there and a couple of support levels as well for you. Moving on to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin had a better week, a steady week. It's finding some support now, a little bit of confidence coming back in for the moment. And again, just remember, it is loosely tracking what's going on with the stocks as well. So with the stocks going up, it's a good thing. I would say at the moment, as you can see that line, the 27,345 is, it's got to get past there. That's where the gap formed. And it's got to get past there to become anywhere near bullish. And then after that, it's probably got to get through about 32,500 before, you're really going to see buyers sort of saying, oh, winter's over, shall we say. But let's wait and see there. But, again, I like to see the crypto improving. I hold a little bit of crypto, but not so much these days because I transferred a lot of my interest into NFTs and the metaverse. But, it's still good. I've still got an interest in it for sure, and ETHs as well. And so here, on the 30-minute, we've managed to get a resistance line in there, got a support line in, and as you can see, Bitcoin pretty much during the day also traded between the pivot and R1. So as I mentioned, sort of Bitcoin is tracking the stacks. It is a loose connection. It's not a pure correlation tick for tick or pip for pip for sure. But if you look, you can just see that they are that almost mirror image. It's not perfect, so don't think it is. But overall, they are moving in tandem. Here's the gold daily. Again, gold had a better week last week. It did find some support. The buyers came back in. So, is it undervalued? Personally, I'm long call options, so I'm long the right to be long of the market lower down. So I'm happy to see it up there for sure. How much further it's going to get, I am not too sure. It's going to start to find a little bit of resistance. And of course, that relationship with stocks, is it going to come back or are they just going to keep going together for the moment? Again, whatever happens, Friday is going to be the decider for pretty much all contracts, where they're going to go once we get that data out. So here's gold in 30 minutes. I've got it in an uptrend. Again, it sort of it stayed above the pivot all day, and it got quite sticky round about R1. So it sort of got above it, couldn't hold it. It came all the way down again, and then later in the day, it got back up there, and it sort of pretty much closed just above R1. Finally, oil, WTI. So here, managed to get a couple of support levels a bit lower down and a resistance level above. As I say, it just seems to be a bit sticky around about 100. It doesn't mean it's not going to move away from 100, but it seems to sort of try and rally, struggles, then tries to sell off, struggles. But I think, really at the moment, it's the fundamentals that's driving it, and to a degree what's going on with oil. And obviously that's relating to what's going on with the gas market. So they're sort of what they're linked together at the moment to a certain amount. And here we can see that it did have that rally. It got above 101, which was R2, couldn't hold it, and then came all the way back through again and pretty much come back to the pivot point itself. So all I can do is just say I hope you've enjoyed that. I'm just going to point out some of our services that we provide in case you're interested. Now, we have this daily newsletter which gives you fresh chart levels every day, including new pivot points. If you want to subscribe to that, it's free, and there's the details for that. And of course, we do workshops, one-day workshops, half-day workshops. We do courses, one-week courses. Our masterclass is 4 weeks, but it doesn't all have to be taken at once. And they will take you from sort of starter or even with a bit of experience and really accelerate your learning for you, helping you to make those high probability decisions with your trading. And there's the calendar for that. Again, you can always just reach out to me if you want more information or even have a discussion about your trading. I can certainly provide you with some insight. Trader mentoring, consulting, also providing education, trader education content. We do that to exchanges, to brokers, a variety of different people and companies, and consulting even to companies to help them with their hedging and such like. So, we have very sort of diversified. If it's anything to do with trading, we're on it. Contact us is info@symaxfintech.com. Don't forget, I've got those live seminars coming up in a couple of weeks if you're interested. And my email, if you've got any questions or anything you'd like to come back to us or to me personally with, is chris.tubby@symax-int.com. Have a great week. you know, just keep your eye for NFP and what's leading up to that as we go through the week. We've got manufacturing out as well, so there's other bits of news to watch for. But be lucky, and hope to see you next week for another one of these. Bye for now.